Hi, welcome to Live at Five, which kind of makes me sound like a newscaster, but I suppose since it is the news of Vicki Baird coaching, I am the one qualified to do the newscasting. Thank you for joining me. These are becoming a highlight of my week to show up here live with you and to answer questions if there are any, and if not, to give a topic of the week so that you can get to know me a little bit better. I can get to know you, and that the community just grows a little bit more and more. This week is actually coming to you because of a session I did this morning. And it's someone that I've known, and it's been a client for, I'm not going to do the math while I'm standing here, but 15 years. The math just dropped in, and or so, maybe even a little bit longer than that. And when we were talking, she reminded me of something that I had said to her 15 years ago about the trajectory of her life. And when we were talking, I reminded her that, well, number one, and this is good for everybody to know for your own intuition, but especially if you're having a reading with someone, you want to be aware that there's this thing called divine timing. And to me, that means the universe conspiring on our behalf. But it also means how much effort we've put into something. Are we willing to do some work? Because there's no magic wands, thankfully, because I think that would get us into even more trouble than our very short attention spans. But she reminded me of something I had said to her in 2008. That is now happening for her. Now, we could look at it two different ways. We could look at it as like, oh, Vic, you really messed up the timing on that. Or we can look at it as seeing so far into the future that taking the other steps into consideration in this time-space reality we have, that those things had to happen too. But then, because she has a great spirit and an understanding of energy, I said, there is such a thing as divine timing. And I thought I would cover a little bit of that, what I know it to be, as well as intersperse a little bit of information in here about when you get an intuitive reading or when you do your own reading. If you were to do a card reading, you can absolutely lay out a timeline, and that can give it a little bit more of a structure or a plan, if you will. Like if you did a next 3 months, or if you did a next 6 months, or something of that nature. But ultimately, what's going to happen is there's going to be a combination of what are you intending, what are you believing, meaning what are your beliefs? Like if you have some limiting beliefs there, they will get in the way. I don't think it stops it completely, like if it's something that's aligned with who you are, but it will put a delay into place, and that can be frustrating. So when we were talking about it, she said it helped her because back when I said it, she was like, no, I don't want that. I'm not going to have two businesses. And one thing I had to learn over the years of doing sessions is absolutely every right to say that's what I don't want. I've said it many times before. I don't want to be somebody's guru. I don't want to be the magic wand in their life. I don't mind being a little bit of glitter or, the pixie dust that helps things come to be. But it's ultimately your path and whomever I'm working with, their decision and their control, really, and choice. So, but now she's realized that this is absolutely something that is in the works. It's in the planning stage now. And when we looked at that and broke it out, all the steps that had to come before it, obviously you have to have a first business before you have the second business. That's just how math numbers work. But she said it helped her to remember that we talked about this so long ago, because it gave her an affirmation of it. And then when I was thinking about, okay, well, what's the topic going to be tonight? It is the summer. I realize people are busy at 5 o'clock. And this is when it works for my schedule. So uh, I thought, well, why don't I just talk about divine timing, what it is, and then some tips to how to handle and navigate, but also maybe not be so frustrated by it because it can be annoying. For me, I have found it to be that it's the magic between being clear about what you'd like in both head, heart, and soul, and formulating a plan to take the steps of action necessary. Because truthfully, no overnight success is truly an overnight success. They've put some work into it and we may just not have witnessed it. Although today with YouTube and TikTok, maybe we are witnessing it, which is a lot of fun to see too. So this it's a transformational process, just like everything in our life. But the more you get it, the more fulfilling life can be because there's less of a tendency to feel like you have to control a situation, which does not work with energy. If you try to control or hold it, it will either stagnate and your progress will slow, um, or you'll just get frustrated and walk away from something. So let's dive in, and I'm going to give you a couple points about divine timing. And if someone shows up with questions, I will absolutely take those. But also how learning to trust, which for the record, I think could be another swear word because it's incredibly challenging to learn how to trust in yourself, but then to trust in spirit. But once you nail that, there's a peacefulness that ends up happening that just cannot be overrated, underrated, one of those. Sorry. So the first thing is embracing patience. After you've created a plan, say you want to create something in your life, okay? You want to use this thing that we call the law of attraction to bring an experience into your life. Maybe it's building a more profitable business. Maybe it's a partnership. Maybe it's a travel experience or a scholarship to some school. You create the plan, right? Like you set up the steps. And by that, what I feel like is necessary is saying, okay, what am I willing to do for this? Am I willing to research? Am I willing to take the classes that will get me aligned with a certain school? Am I willing to do a business plan? Am I willing to work? All of those things, right? You have to have some kind of groundedness in this realm for something to manifest. Now, the other part about it and the trust that I was talking about, it takes embracing some patience because you can do all of this and you can put the steps into motion, but you may not see what could be blocking it or where you could be blocking it because we all do it because we're amazingly beautiful humans in that way. And that's one of the reasons that she set up a session with me, because largely my role is to bring clarity to any situation that we're discussing and then some tips and some direction. And it's like one-stop shopping in that thing. So the patience that is required once you've decided you want something, it's like waiting for a holiday morning, right? Like it's you get all excited about it and we tend to be more and more in this instantaneous results. Like we want things right away. I call it the drive-through method. We want to place an order at the window, drive through and have it show up. But you miss some beauty in the process and the growth when you do that. And embracing patience is an aspect of divine timing that's really important because it'll teach you patience if you learn to trust in the divine timing, because your life has a rhythm, and I really believe in the intelligence of your soul and in universal forces. So oftentimes things won't show up until we have learned. I mean, look at the people who have won lottery and then they don't have any money left within a few years because they did not learn the process ahead of time, um, before that came into their life. And it could be said that that experience was there to help them learn the process. But if they didn't take advantage of it, and they didn't get grounded and realize, ooh, this is a really cool thing that's happened. Now, how can I be responsible and accountable enough to have it last me my lifetime and perhaps, inheritance lifetime? So the patience it requires is stepping back and allowing events to unfold naturally. And I know that there's a lot of talk of trust the universe, and that can feel so condescending, when you're going through an event that might be tragic for your family or for yourself. I, and I had this experience in with my late husband. I had precognitively seen him passing and knew he was going to pass, even when we didn't really have. Well, it would have helped if he went to the doctor, but we didn't have any indication that he was actually dealing with any health issues other than my feeling or my precognition. And then I could feel a timeline on this. And I had to let that go, or I wouldn't have been able to be in my relationship and even learn from it to create a better marriage than we had beforehand. Because I started looking at it like I really should embrace any day that I'm with this person or someone I love as possibly being the last day. And that was a great lesson I learned from that. But there was a divine timing to it. Why? Because it wasn't my timeline. Just because I was feeling it was imminent didn't mean that it was. And then 3 years later, it did come true. He did have a near death experience, but he didn't talk about it for so long, I forgot about it. And I'm like, that could have counted. But 3 years later, he passed. And I really know there was a divine timing in that, because the experience of me knowing, and I knew he was going to pass, gave me and gave us the time to work on our relationship so that there wasn't resentment about when he did pass. I wish I had been a little bit more present with the you need to go through your toolboxes and stuff, without being morbid. So that the knowing something is happening, and it's not that I wanted it to happen, it's just that I trust so much in the messages that I get that it would have been foolish for me to ignore that, and not take advantage of it. And part of learning to trust divine timing is letting go of control. And yes, I know that's a difficult one for all humans to some degree, because we want to have a say, and we ought to have a say, but we can't control energy, nor would we want to have that pressure, I think. But when you learn to trust in divine timing, you can relinquish like unnecessary stress and frustration. So say you're running a business and you want to hire someone for a position, and everybody who's showing up is just not quite right, or they don't match the criteria that you absolutely need for this position. You could get all wound up about it and get frustrated with it and try to control it by going after more and more people, or and having more and more interviews that don't line up. Or you could say, you know what, I have done what I could do. We posted the ads, we've talked to people, I've put the all call out energy, and now I'm going to leave it alone for 3 weeks and see what happens after that. And 3 weeks is just a suggestion, but or a time that may come up for you. So letting go of that control, you learn to release the resistance that also as humans, we think we have a say over things, and we have no say over someone else. We have no say over what someone else is creating. we think we like to think we can, and there's mixed messages out there with the law of attraction that you can manifest for someone else. I'm telling you right now, you cannot. Their higher soul, their self has more say than you do. So just back up. And that's a good way to let go of control too, and trust in the divine timing. Maybe you have a young adult who is just not showing that the collegiate route is in his best interest. Letting go of some of that control and saying, okay, I trust you to run with this, with some parameters. I have to have a job or have to contribute to the household if you're still living here. But and trust in the divine timing that his process will reveal itself. And because the more that we try to control things, the more we will muck it up. And it's not about being so loosey goosey, because I've seen the other end of that too, where people are like, I'm just going to trust in the universe and sit here on my meditation mat and it will come to me. Well, it's also not UPS. Like, you can't just place an order and it'll show up, right? At some point, you had to pay for that order. At least use a gift card for that order. And your effort is the contribution to the manifestation. So the idea that we're not in charge of the timeline is absolutely true, but we can move the needle forward by doing everything possible and then being fully ready for when that opportunity lands in your lap, because a lot of the times opportunities get disguised. Things don't go as planned. You get frustrated. Maybe there's some setbacks or unexpected changes. And then all the pieces start to move again. And then you look back on it retrospectively and realize, oh, there's a reason that went off on its own, because I needed to have this experience, which is a much more heightened one. And that can show up in like dating and relationships like that, where you feel like, I really want to date this person. I know this is the person that I want to date, and it just doesn't work out. You can't get together, or there are some things that are, irreconcilable, distance, whatever the case may be. And then if you have a presence of mind and you have a trust in yourself and in divine timing and the delivery system of the universe, when that person shows up, you're like, okay, I see what was going on here, and it takes practice. And it also takes a little bit of belief in magic and having a little bit of faith, because the belief in something contributing that is greater than yourselves, your angels, your guides, soul or source energy, rather, your soul, but source energy and the matrix and all of the energy fields that exist, the belief in that can often give us the permission to hand it over. And that can build some faith. And that's where a little bit of belief in magic. I love saying to my partner, I don't know how this is going to go. And yet I trust in my track record. I trust that I have always had a really good time with my clients. I have always paid my bills. Something has always shown up if there's like a slower time of my business. And I know that that's a time when I need to get more into the creative juices and trust the divine timing of all of this work put in will return on itself. So think of it as a return on your investment. And of course, it leads to trusting your intuition. As an intuitive life coach, I can't leave this out. I can't brush over it. So I have to bring it in that intuition and divine timing go hand in hand. Because again, when you learn to trust in the timing that is right for this moment. And I may not know why it's not right now. And I may not like it that it's not right now, but you will strengthen your, I'm mixing the you and my's, but you get it. You'll strengthen your intuition and inner knowing the more you practice with, oh, that was what I thought I wanted. And then this other opportunity came along and gave me more information. And yeah, I'm glad that it worked out this way. I might have had to wait longer, but now I know what it feels like to trust my instincts and to trust my intuition. I can do that next time and not get so frustrated that something's not moving. A lot of the times, I feel like divine timing or manifestation is kind of like when you're caught in traffic and there's no real reason that we're going this slow. It's not the pokey pokey up front or a truck that can't get over. There's like, or a lane that's blocked. There's no real reason. But then all of a sudden it opens up and flows. That's what divine timing and law of attraction feel like to me. And I'll do more on law of attraction as we get moving forward in these. So if you have questions about that, bring them, send them to me, Vicki at VickiBaird.com, or comment right on this video. If that's easier, you're already here and you are okay with your profile being seen, go ahead and comment and I'll follow up on that. But that's a lot of what manifestation and creation looks like, is that traffic that's just not moving. And then all of a sudden you're flowing free and you never really knew what the block was. And most of the time, we never really know what the block was. But when you learn to trust the process and energy and your intuition and also in yourself, that you will show up when it is time to show up. That's really important. And that's, learning to believe in yourself and like yourself. It will, when you learn to trust divine timing and you get to be playful with it, there's more of a gratitude that comes with life, because when it actually does manifest, you feel like, I actually did this. I created this. I hope you do. I hope you pat yourself on the back and you feel a gratitude for yourself. So what I'm going to say to wrap all this up is pay attention to synchronicities and to the signs that show up, because they're everywhere. And when you pay attention to, when you start paying attention to that the timing is not all up to you, you become more attuned to synchronicities and to the signs around you and to the communication that happens through subtle signals. You were thinking about something and then all of a sudden somebody suggests a book to you that would be perfect to help you create the next level of your life or business. Or somebody says, you know who you need to meet? I just had that happen this morning. Somebody sent me an email and said, you know who you need to meet? And I'm like, I'm happy to meet anybody. So connect us up and we'll coordinate schedules. Those synchronicities and the signs are there. And once you release the control of having to do everything yourself and you start to believe in this divine timing that's not on a Gregorian calendar or, a 24-hour time construct, those signs, those opportunities and synchronicities will start to happen. And you know what? They'll start to happen faster because you're not trying to control it. So thank you for showing up. Thank you for watching this whenever you watch it. Hit the subscribe button. There'll be more. Hit the like button and send me any requests that you have. Vicki at VickiBaird.com. That's VICKI at VickiBaird.com. Or again, through this channel. Happy to receive them here. I hope you're having a very blessed Wednesday and that you make the most of your day and start to look for those signs and the divine timing that is available to all of us, including you.